Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our press conference is about to start. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the pride of South African boxing, a 14-time world champ, undefeated as a champ, and the only South African boxer to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Ladies and gents, give it up for my friend, Brian Mitchell.
Thank you, Clint. Nice introduction. Are you 50 euros or 50 rand actually? Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic press conference. What a great evening. Thunderbolt, the 21st of February, brought to you by Rodney Berman and of course SPM. Great tournament. Gennady Golovkin's in the house. Triple G, a great world champion, probably the most exciting fighter on the planet. And of course Martin Murray, a brilliant fighter from the UK, will be giving Gennady Golovkin his toughest fight to date. Good friend of mine as well, Martin Murray, welcome. Let's start. Let's give them a hand, the two champs in the house. We're going to start the proceedings by talking to Mr. Jean-Louis Mazarel, director from SPM. Mr. Mazarel, Rodney Berman and you guys have formed a partnership for the last 3 years. It's been amazing. This is our 6th time now in 3 years in this beautiful Monte Carlo, the Principality of Monaco. And it's just been gone from strength to strength. It's been absolutely amazing. This is the cherry on the cake. We'll talk to Rodney about it just now as well, of getting the Martin Murray against Gennady Golovkin. Tell us your feelings how it's gone the last 3 years, working with Golden Gloves and of course the superstars of boxing.
Well, very frankly, working with Golden Gloves for the last 3 years has allowed the Principality of Monaco to come back to boxing with great success, great image, a lot of exposure in the media, great enjoyment, and very good fights. Now we have here our two fighters, which we know well because each of them has already fought here in Monaco twice, each of them, and they are today together with us. We are delighted for this event. We thank Golden Gloves for having organized it so well. I won't say anything more, just thank you Golden Gloves, thank you Michael Wittstock, who is the other partner that has been quite essential in this success.
Very essential.
Thank you. Jean-Louis Mazarel, let's give him a hand. Right, next up Mr. John Galvini, who's the Senior Vice President of the casino. Mr. Galvini, it's been an amazing pleasure working with you and being in this casino, coming here 6 times, as I said, in the last 3 years. I mean, what an honor for us and what a fantastic casino, what a fantastic place, Monte Carlo. What has your feelings been about having boxing and hosting boxing in this beautiful place?
Quite honestly, it's not an environment that I was familiar with, but what I will say is that I've seen Martin and I've seen Mr. Golovkin fight 4 times now between the two of them, and quite honestly I think this is the fight that everybody wants to see, and really 2 nicer guys you couldn't wish to meet. I think they're both absolute gentlemen, they're both professional from what I can see in my limited experience. I just hope everybody has a really good time, and I certainly hope that neither of them get hurt.
Thanks, John. Well, the crowd obviously and the supporters are going to be hoping somebody does get beaten. Somebody's going to get beaten unless there's a draw. But we look forward to a fantastic fight. Thank you, Mr. John Galvini. Thank you for hosting us for so many years. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And we hope to continue this relationship for many years to come. If you can pass the mic over to your left-hand side to Mr. Andrei Mikhailov. Of course, we've seen your son fight on every single occasion we've been here. He's a terrific little fighter. And you are the Vice President of the Monaco Boxing Federation. Your feelings on the boxing tournament come Saturday night with these 2 great fighters, Gennady Golovkin and Martin Murray?
Alors, écoutez, ce soir je vais dénoter un tout petit peu parce que je vais parler en français. Tout d'abord, je tenais à excuser l'absence de Laurent Puance, qui est le président de notre fédération. Je suis là pour le représenter. Bien évidemment, je suis persuadé que cette soirée va être une soirée fantastique, comme toutes les soirées qui ont eu lieu à Monaco depuis ces 3 dernières années. Ce combat Golovkin-Murray est une pure merveille. Je pense que le monde entier nous l'envie. Ce soir, c'est une réelle fierté que d'être à cette table et de partager un tel moment avec vous. Je voulais quand même aussi faire une petite parenthèse sur la soirée, donc les combats amateurs, les deux jeunes monégasques qui vont représenter notre club. Idriss Barkat, c'est un jeune boxeur, et donc Hugo Mikhalev, dont vous connaissez à peu près tous aujourd'hui la jeune carrière amateur. Ça sera donc deux très beaux combats qui commenceront la soirée. J'espère que vous serez tous présents. Venez tôt, je viens d'apprendre que c'est à 19h15, pardon. On compte sur vous, et donc vous pouvez compter sur la présence absolue de la fédération dans l'organisation de ce genre d'événement. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Mr. Andrei Mikhalev. You can just take the mic now to move right to the other side. Few mics in the house. Well, Mr. Peter Nelson will know all about mics. Peter Nelson from HBO Television America. Let's give him a big hand. Peter, thank you for joining us, a guest of Roddy Berman's and of course SPM, and this wonderful occasion, the great champion Gennady Golovkin against Martin Murray, being viewed live on HBO Television in America, the great network there. Your feelings on the fight, and I know you've come to look at our little champion Hennessy Butler as well, a superstar from South Africa. We're hoping to get him on television in America. Being viewed to 22 different countries, I believe, and it's an amazing bout. But of course, you HBO, tell us about your feelings about the fight, Peter Nelson.
Well, thank you, and we're thrilled to be able to be here. And first and foremost, I want to thank everyone on this dais for help making this event possible. For us, it's a privilege to be able to be here. So I want to thank, obviously, the people of Monaco for their hospitality here, in addition to Rodney Berman for making this event possible, in conjunction with Tom Loeffler, Michael Whitstock, and everyone involved with the fighters and their teams. It's always great when an event like this is possible. There's obviously some people not on this dais as well, including Pauline Loeb, who is a heroine of this all coming together, along with an unsung hero for us, our production manager, Holly Peterman, did an exceptional job behind the scenes. We brought a lot of people with us, a delegation, and it wasn't easy to accommodate, and I know everyone did a lot in order to make this happen. Not least of our technical considerations is that it is -4 degrees in New York right now, so we all wanted to get over here to be in Monaco as quickly as we could. This fight represents what we believe is Gennady's toughest test to date in Martin Murray, and these are two fearless champions. And Martin, we saw, was willing to go to Argentina to fight Sergio Martinez in his backyard last year. Gennady is willing to fight anyone in the world, anytime, anywhere. And our subscribers, fans of the sport, are willing to see Gennady fight wherever it is that he chooses to do so. So whether that's in the United States or in Monte Carlo or in outer space, we're going to be there with the television camera to make sure that our subscribers can see it, and we're just excited to be here and part of the event. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff, Mr. Peter Nelson, HBO Television America. Peter, just a final question, if I can put you on a little bit of pressure. Hennessy Butler, we know boxing's always been about the big guys and the heavyweights. But he's in the lightest division on the planet, but he's the #1 out there. He's a superstar in world boxing. Will HBO look at televising him? Should he have a good win Saturday?
There's always opportunity. You know, there was a young man not long ago who had to put metal in his pockets just to qualify to be able to be heavy enough to fight. He was fighting in the Philippines. His name is Manny Pacquiao. You never know who's going to be the next great light in boxing, so we're always looking for who's going to emerge in that respect. Absolutely.
Awesome answer. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Nelson, HBO Television, USA. The president of the WBC, Mr. Mauricio Solomon, has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Solomon. Your dad was all of our hero and a superstar, your late father. Your being here as a WBC president is an honor for us. Tell us your feeling on the fight with the great Gennady Golovkin, who's the interim WBC champion at the moment. We do believe, should he beat Martin Murray, it hasn't happened yet. Martin might be fighting Cotto. One of these two fighters fight for the top WBC title.
Hello, my name is Mauricio Sulaiman. And as you say, I'm the son of Jose Sulaiman, which is my greatest pride. I feel when I was flying to come for this trip, I felt tremendous nostalgia and tremendous happiness, because Monte Carlo was the Mecca of boxing many years ago. Monte Carlo saw some of the greatest fights in the history of boxing: Carlos Monzon, Nino Benvenuti, Emil Griffith, even Julio Cesar Chavez fought. And with the great work of our dear friend Ronnie Berman and all the people who have put together the work with him, Monte Carlo will be this Saturday night in the eyes of the whole world. When you have HBO, which is the greatest television company for boxing in the history, HBO, you can remember the greatest fights, and you can just think HBO. It's a pleasure to be here with my good friend Peter and be part of this great event. I had the honor to be in Argentina when Murray fought against Martinez. He knocked them down twice. He had 45,000 Argentinians against him, and he had a tremendous, tremendous power, a great fight, and he came very, very close from winning the WBC championship. And I have had the pleasure of being with Gennady Golovkin several times. He's my, I consider him my friend. He's a really good person inside the ring and outside the ring. Both fighters have tremendous commitment for children. They work together. They want to make the difference. They are role models for society. So this fight is very, very special. Talking about the little guys, I just made a, he wins, and I will do all my best to do unification fight or do whatever has to be done so he can fight for the WBC. We have been in contact for many years. He's a great South African representative, and it is just simply a great honor to be here. I feel very enthused. I wish the best of luck. I want to thank Monte Carlo for looking and for supporting boxing. This is a great event, and I'd like to congratulate Mr. Berman, Tom Loeffler, and everybody involved in this promotion. Thank you very much.
Great stuff, Mr. Mauricio Sullivan. Thank you very much. Of course, Heki Butler is our little Manny Pacquiao from South Africa. And I think Colin Nathan must have got excited when you said that. And the little champ himself, we sure would love to fight for your WBC title as well in the near future. And we're sure that's going to happen. Let me talk to Mr. Rodney Berman, the promoter of champions, done more than 300 world title fights around the world. Rodney Berman, the South African promoter. Rod, you've come here. We've been here with you as a team 6 times. Now this is our 6th time in 3 years. Amazing stuff. This is the cherry on the cake of the ultimate fight that you've wanted. The biggest fight ever in Monte Carlo. And this is what you wanted. Martin Murray versus the great Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah, and you know, one thing in starting that I think most of us that are in boxing have noticed, we have 2 really exceptional young men on the stage tonight. And I'm not necessarily talking about their boxing ability, because to me, when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, it's what you are as a human being. And I don't know, it's a great fight. We've got 2 great warriors, but there hasn't been a need once for either of them to trash the other. They are going to get on with their business, and that is so refreshing in boxing. And to Gennady, you know, he is really an exceptional fighter. He is, in my eyes, the most exciting fighter on the planet today. And it's been an absolute honor for Golden Gloves to have been a promoter of now his 3rd fight. But on my left, I now have Martin Murray, a young man, a Golden Gloves fighter who we are very, very proud of. He is a very inspirational guy. He is without doubt the hardest opponent that Gennady is going to meet. He has exceptional ability in our eyes. He is without doubt a 2-time uncrowned world champion. And I know we want to get onto the boxes. I just want to say one thing, which you can find ominous, everybody here. Whenever a Golden Gloves fighter who is a total underdog walks into the ring, he is responsible for some of the greatest upsets in world boxing history. I will go to Lennox Lewis and Hasim Rahman. Rahman was, if I recall, a 50-1 underdog. He finished up history, what he did with Lennox Lewis. Corrie Sanders went to Germany as a washed-up old man who was semi-retired. He had no hope, and he knocked out Vladimir Klitschko in 2 rounds, the only loss that Klitschko's ever experienced. Nigel Benn fought a very old man, a man called Sugarboy Malinga. He was 41 years old. He went there as a sacrificial lamb, became the WBC world champion. I could go on and on and on, but I have here Martin Murray, and come the night and let's watch Martin Murray and see what he does. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Rodney Berman, thank you. Promoter of champions and been around. Rodney's done it all, seen it all, and like you said, Rodney, I couldn't agree with you more. I've become friends with Gennady and Martin over the last 3 years. 2 of the loveliest guys you'll ever meet. And, well, it's a pity there has to be a loser Saturday, because both guys are real gentlemen and really an example to boxing. Last but not least, before I speak to the boxers, Mr. Michael Woodstock, I'd like to speak to you, but firstly I want to congratulate you, your daughter having twins, and bringing a South African to the party, so we know we're going to have a South African prince and princess of Monaco in the near future. Mr. Michael Woodstock.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. As you said, 3 years ago, I sat in John Louis Roosevelt's office with Rodney Berman. I hardly knew Gennady. Rodney promised the SPM the biggest fight in the world. Today, I think he's achieved that. It's a fantastic fight. Without financial backing, you can't put on any fights. And to this end, I want to thank my good friend, Mr. Jean-Louis Roosevelt, Mr. Biamonti at the SPM, the government, and not least my son-in-law, the Prince, that has backed us on every tournament 100%. You have John Galvini, Pauline, and Frederick have been fantastic to us. They become a family with us. We've had our ups and downs, our arguments, but we've produced tonight what you see here. In the world today, you've got a very, very angry world out there. As Rodney just said, you've got 2 young men here that are out of the top drawer. If there were more young people like this in the world today, it would be a far better place. So I wish both of them, who are great family men, dedicated fighters, from me, all the very best to both of you. You're both, I'm privileged to say, good friends of mine, and I wish you all the best. And I've been dying to do something in Monaco for 5 years, making small speeches and that. But today, the night is right to do it. For my friend next door to me here, God bless Monaco. God bless the Republic of South Africa. And God bless the United States of America. Yes, we can.
Well, there you hear it from Mr. Michael Woodstock, never short of a word. Mike, well, as Rodney Berman's publicist, let me personally also thank you for what you've done for us, for what you've done for Golden Gloves, what you've done for SPM, for making this happen. Between yourself and Rodney Berman, you guys have created miracles to get Gennady Golovkin here, to fight Martin Murray, the cherry on the cake. And thanks to you and Rodney Berman and SPM, you guys have done an unbelievable job. Well done. I'm now going to talk to the main fighters before I get to Martin and Gennady. Let me speak to, before I speak to Heki, of course, the champion, and Colin Nathan, Jesus Silvestre. His trainer is Mr. Gonzalez Alejandro. When he gets off his cell phone, we can talk to him. Part of the press conference. Gonzalez Alejandro, we spoke at the hotel. You're a brilliant fighter as well. Former WBC featherweight champion. 55 professional fights this man has got. 50 wins. Credible fighter, great record. You've brought out Jesus Silvestre. You're training him to fight the best fighter on the planet in this division. How's your training camp gone, and do you believe that Jesus Silvestre can dethrone Heki Butler?
You know, my English, I don't understand too much English, but let me try to explain to him. Dice que cómo te sientes para esta pelea, para pelea, ¿cómo es la pelea?
Buenas tardes. Me siento muy bien, la verdad. Siento que vengo con una gran preparación. Pienso que va a ser una gran pelea. Que Heckler es un gran campeón, pero yo vengo muy preparado y sé que voy a ganar.
Yeah, he says he have good prepare. He make everything good. He says he's going to be a hard fight with Heckler. He's a great champion. It's going to be a great fight for them two, but you know.
Thank you, Gonzalez Alessandro, former WBC champion, and of course Jesus Silvestre, the challenger for Hickey Butler's WBA and IBO World Strawweight Championship come Saturday night. Colin Nathan, trainer for Hickey Butler, I saw your eyes light up when Mr. Mauricio Solomon spoke about the WBC title, and of course we know the Hexter's the best fighter on the planet in his weight. How's your preparations gone, and how do you look at a tough fight like this against Jesus Silvestre? He had 35 fights and 30 wins, and a lot of them by KO.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Golden Gloves. Rodney Berman's made this possible, and SBM, and all the powers that be, all the networks and so forth. It's very flattering to talk about unifications and talk about HBO, etc. But we focused on one thing, and that's to win against Jesus Silvestre on Saturday night. Jesus is a very, very good fighter. The difference will be he's up against a better fighter. Hickey Butler has had good preparations for this fight. I want to thank my team for coming out with us. Weight's good. We're looking for a hard fight. I'd like to wish Silvestre all the best for this fight. But we're confident, not overconfident. We're confident that we're going to win this fight impressively Saturday night.
Thanks, Colin Nathan. Well, let's speak to the champ himself, WBA and IBO champion of the world, Hickey, you're going into your 10th world title fight now, Hickey, your 8th IBO world title fight, your 3rd WBA title fight, 10th world title fight, unbelievable stuff. And you're only 26 years old and you're unmarked, and you've come so well in the last 2 years. Thanks to Colin, and obviously thanks to you as the fighter. You're a complete fighter. You've completed those defensive leagues that you had, and you're really on top of your game. How do you feel you can win this fight quite convincingly and go on to win WBC and IBF titles?
Thanks for having me, and thanks everybody for being here. Now I'm definitely ready on fight. We trained hard, we did everything we had to do. He's an amazing fighter. I've watched a few of his fights. He's an extremely hard puncher, so it's an honor for me to fight against him. I want to thank everybody for coming and come out and watch the fight. It's going to be a good fight. Look at the main fights. You can't really say anything about this tournament. It's made for people to watch. It's there for everybody to see, and hopefully I can bring something to the table and people can enjoy my fights as much as they will enjoy the main fight.
We always love watching you fight. Hickey Butler, WBA and IBO champion of the world, #1 strawweight on the planet. You can just give your mic up there to the big man, Mr. Andrew McCall, our good South African. Well, and almost South Africans, you spend so much time there, you become such good friends with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Andrew McCall, agent for Martin Murray. Martin's a brilliant fighter. He's now at the top of his game, fighting the most exciting, most dangerous fighter on the planet in GENNADY GOLOVKIN. How do you feel Martin's going to go, Andrew McCall?
Well, I feel he's going to win. There's no doubt about it. We didn't come into this deal that we had with Rodney Berman for any other reason than to win. Martin's shown great character in the past, and everybody's seen that. Yeah, I agree with you. He's definitely an uncrowned champion on 2 occasions, like Mauricio kindly said. And I think the world's in for what they want. A great fight. You're looking at someone who's won't be intimidated whatsoever. Won't be scared in any way getting into the ring. Yeah, there may be nerves there, but I'm quite sure Gennady's going to have exactly the same type of nerves. But it's channeling those nerves on the night that's important. And Martin's got nerves of steel. So we're really up for it. We're ready for it. And you know, if you've been to some of the places that Martin's been in his life, this is more like a training camp. You know, he's ready. He's waiting, and I think he's going to produce big time on the night.
Thank you, Andrew McCall. Nice confident words there, and why not? Of course, Martin's only lost once. Before I speak to Mr. Abel Sanchez, I must tell you the coincidence that I actually picked up when we announced the fight here in November was that both these guys are 32 years old. Both these guys are going into their 32nd fight, and both guys are fighting for the 3rd time in Monte Carlo. And of course, Martin Murray's only got 1 loss and Gennady's got no losses. So it's a great fight we look forward to come Saturday night. Mr. Abel Sanchez, let me talk to you before we switch it back to Martin Murray and the great champ Gennady. Of course, Gennady, what do we say? He's undefeated, 31-0, 28 knockouts, the best knockout record for any middleweight ever. And he just seems to keep bowling them out and bowling them over and getting better and better. Do you feel Martin Murray, who's a really good fighter, has got a chance of dethroning Gennady?
First of all, the Triple G team would like to thank the Prince and the Princess for their hospitality. Second of all, God bless Kazakhstan and Mr. and Mrs. Golovkin, or else we wouldn't be here. We have a difficult challenge ahead of us. Martin, as I've said before, is the uncrowned champion in our eyes. He beat Martinez and he beat Sturm. We know that he's ready. We know that he's got a real tall mountain to climb, and he knows it. But GENNADY GOLOVKIN has had a great training camp. He's a rising star, and he understands, as he puts it, I understand my situation. He understands that he needs to please and he needs to make sure and be responsible in the ring so that we continue to climb the ladder to stardom. We thank Martin Murray for taking the fight because we're having a difficult time getting the fight. We thank you for being here, and let's have a great dramatic night.
Thank you, Mr. Abel Sanchez, trainer to the great GENNADY GOLOVKIN. Right, let's get back to Martin Murray, the challenger. Well-schooled, tough, and somewhat underrated St. Helens middleweight, Martin Murray hasn't had it easy en route to top of the world middleweight division. He's fought the best in the world, often on foreign soil, and has never once been dominated or deemed out of his depth. Instead, such is the extent of his comfort at world-class level, most champions have chosen to avoid him in recent times. Martin Murray, our friend from South Africa, our champion, uncrowned champion, as we said so many times, but now you're facing the most dangerous fight in the world, and probably the most exciting fight on the planet. You're both fantastic guys outside of the ring. You're both fantastic fighters. Martin, do you believe you can dethrone Triple G Golovkin?
First of all, I'd just like to thank Rodney Burnham, John Lowe, Mike Wittstock, and the SPM, everybody, for making this fight possible. It's the fight I've been aiming towards. It was always the plan when I signed with Rodney that this was the fight that was going to happen. It's the fight that I wanted. So yeah, you know, I've got to thank everybody involved for making that. Regarding the fight, the Golovkin fight, Golovkin's a great fighter. Everybody knows that. You know, I've never once badmouthed him. He's a great fighter. He's done everything right. But I've just got a feeling, and I've had this feeling for a long time now that I'm going to be the man to beat him. I really do feel that, and you know, I can't help the way I feel. I know how big the challenge is in front of me. I know I'm in for the hardest night of my life, fight-wise. And I know I'm going to go through some pain, but I'm willing to go there. I'm prepared to go there. And yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to the fight. It's going to be tough, like I said, but it's a massive challenge that I've really got my head into. I've had a great training camp. I've done 6 weeks in England, finished the last 5 weeks off in South Africa. It's been unbelievable over the way we were treated. Got to give a special mention to Harold and Michelle Volbeck, who was absolutely unbelievable with us over there, sorted everything out with us. But the weather was good, the altitude. You know, I took myself away from my family, which has absolutely killed me. You know, I've not seen my kids or my wife for 5 weeks, so you know, I've done things I've never done, and you know, I believe, you know, I've been a firm believer that if you want something that you've never had, you know, the type of things you've got to do, and I've done that, and you know, I've given myself every possible chance and every possible opportunity to win this fight. And yeah, it's going to be a tough fight, but I am quietly confident that I can do the job on Saturday.
Thank you, Martin Murray. Let's give him a hand. course, next up, Mr. Tom Lufler, big man in professional boxing, promotes the Klitschko brothers, promotes the great Gennady Golovkin. Tom, you're huge in boxing today as a promoter, as an agent, as a manager. You're doing such a great job. I've watched you in the years we've become friends, how you operate and how you're on that cell phone permanently. You really are a good manager and promoter. Well done. And how do you feel about Gennady Golovkin, Martin Murray? Do you think it's going to be a close fight? I'd like to put you on the line here and get your opinion on the result.
Well, first, Brian, I want to acknowledge also people that made this event possible. It's you know, these type of events don't come together overnight, and as Mike had alluded to, it takes a lot of financial backing. When I was speaking to Peter Nelson last year at HBO about coming, you know, he kept asking, why you keep wanting to fight in Monte Carlo? And I said, Peter, it's something magical about the city. And when he came last year for the Adama fight, he understood. And now HBO is fully on board for this fight here. I want to thank Mike Woodstock for his involvement, Jean-Louis, Rodney Berman. Without their involvement, something like this wouldn't happen. I mean, this is really, if you look at the world stage, a fight like this and this magnitude, where you have Gennady Golovkin was multiple world titles, and Martin Murray, who's rated #1 in the world. It's really a worldwide event. It'll be broadcast in over 100 countries, live on HBO, live on Sat 1 in Germany, live on Channel 5 in the UK, on terrestrial TV, and we're really excited about that. We can't say enough good things about Martin and his manager Andrew. This is also a very unique thing, is that we had 5 different press conferences in 5 countries for this event, and that's unprecedented. We were in London together. We were in Mexico City with our dear friend Mauricio Suleiman, where he got the WBC title. We had a press conference in Los Angeles. We had a press conference in Kazakhstan. So it really is an international, worldwide event, and we thank HBO, who we have an exclusive contract with, for broadcasting the fight. Mauricio was a little bit humble in his comments, but he came from Pakistan, where the WBC is really the most recognized worldwide title, and so we really appreciate his presence here, Mauricio. It means a lot to us. As Abel had mentioned, you know, Martin is, he rises to the occasion. When he fought for his first 2 times for World Championships, he put on a great performance against Felix Sturm in Germany. He put on a great performance, dropping Sergio Martinez 2 times, although only got credit for 1 time in Argentina. This time, with the Barmy Army, we think he'll be in more neutral territory.
The Barmy Army.
And we expect them, from what Andrew tells us, that they'll be in full force. So, you know, but there's nothing, words can't describe, you know, the admiration that I have for Gennady and his team. I want to recognize Oleg Herman, his manager, is here, and definitely Abel Sanchez for what they bring. It takes a full effort to get him to the position where he's at, but he really will fight anyone, anywhere, and anytime, and that's how this fight came about. So we appreciate everyone's support, appreciate everyone coming out, and then Brian, if you want to introduce Gennady.
Absolutely, Mr. Tom Lufler, thank you very much. Promoter and agent for the great Gennady Golovkin. Right, before I let Gennady talk, I must tell you, when it comes to crippling punch power and unnerving ability to intimidate, few fighters in world boxing today are able to compete with Gennady Triple G Golovkin. The reigning and defending WBA, IBO and WBC interim world middleweight champion. The Kazakhstan-born destroyer has won all 31 of his professional contests and has beaten 28 of his opponents by knockout. Each and every one of his 12 successful world title defenses has ended within the scheduled distance. Gennady, let's talk to you. They're talking about you in the world now. I'm sure you've read about it and you've got the vibe and you've got the feeling, because you are the man. People are saying that you're the most exciting boxer on the planet, and I'm agreeing with that as well as an ex-fighter. You really are doing the job. 28 knockouts in 31 fights. It almost looks like you're unstoppable. But you are fighting a guy, Martin Murray, probably the best fighter you've fought up to He's a talented guy. He's going to come to fight. Not probably, he's He's the best fighter. He'll be fighting up to date. And as a former world champion, people have asked me as well, what happens when a challenger fights you and he's had 2 or 3 or 4 losses? Does it make it an easy fight for you? In your case, 1 loss. And my answer was, no, definitely not. Because when a guy gets a shot at a world title, he goes to another level, a challenger. So it's a tough fight for you, but you're a brilliant world champion. Your feelings, Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Thank you very much. Of course, my opponent, Martin Murray, he's a great fighter. He's strong. I respect him. I respect his team. I see his look is good. You know, his look strong. Okay, just first, thank you for Peter Nelson, for Marisa Suleiman, for Jean-Louis, for Rodney, for Michael, of course. You know, just great to see you, gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here again. You know, just I love Monaco. I think I'm ready 100% to fight, to great show, to big dramatic show. You know, we had a lot of time for great performance, preparing. I promise good show Saturday. Just thank you very much for everybody. Welcome to my fight.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Gennady, we watched all your fights and we watched all the interviews. The one fight in America, they asked you, you said, I just like to fight, I like Mexican style, I like to fight. And that is what you do. You're a brilliant fighter, but do you feel, can I ask you, do you honestly feel somebody can beat you? Like Martin Murray, of course, on Saturday night, do you feel that you can be beaten? It's a different kind of question.
You know, my focus on Martin Murray. He is a great fighter. Everybody has a big chance. I think Martin, he understands his situation. You know, maybe he had 2 title fights. Right now, maybe it's a great chance for him. You know, just big test for me too. Absolutely, this is the biggest test for me in my career, And I promise great show, not just easy fight. Just I promise big dramatic show because Martin Murray, he's a big fighter, great fighter. I feel my power. I feel great. I think it's an amazing show.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Triple G Golovkin versus Martin Murray. Thunderbolt comes Saturday night, the 21st of February. We're expecting a fantastic tournament. 4 fights. Lee Haskins from the UK will fight Omar Lemeri for the EBU Bantamweight title. And we also have Yugi Fury on the undercard against Andrei Rudenko. Yugi Fury is the heavyweight, that is the cousin to Tyson Fury. So a fantastic tournament comes Saturday night, the 21st of February. If there's any questions, you can ask the guys now. Andrei Rudenko is in the house. Can you just stand up so we can acknowledge you, the guy fighting Fury?